Are you ready for some tea? Some wedding tea? Well, welcome to my YouTube channel. It's Desiree here, and I'm so excited to see you. Allow me to sit this down. Well, do I have another wedding drama to share with you? And like I always say, yes, this really did happen. So let's go ahead and get started. This story we're going to call Sister to Sister. Sister to sister. Yeah, you're probably not going to believe this one either, but gotta say it again. It really did happen. So allow me to give you a little bit of background regarding the couple. I have to say this, the bride was the sweetest and the most kindest bride that I had met in seriously a long time. She had a beautiful spirit. She just was very calm. She was very patient. She was also a single mother and she loved her child so very much. And you could tell that by the interactions they had with one another. The groom, for what I knew, he was a cool dude, very chill, relaxed, nice gentleman, no issues, right? I also want to mention that the bride's parents were paying for majority of this wedding, all right? They were paying for the ceremony and reception, cocktails, all of those things. And if the couple wanted anything extra, they were going to have to pay for that. Also wanted to mention that the bride was very close with her sister, all right? Her sister was actually going to be her maid of honor, but we'll talk about her shortly. Now it's time to get started with this story. All of the planning meetings pretty much took place at the parents' home. This was earlier on in my career. I didn't have an office at the time, so this is when I traveled to a couple's home or to a Starbucks or a Panera Bread to have the meetings. The parents of the bride were very gracious and they would allow us to have the planning meetings inside of their home. I will say, Mom, though, she was a spicy one. Yes, she did. She was very opinionated, always respectful, but she had a lot to say when it came to planning her second daughter's wedding. I have to think that maybe she didn't have that much input with the first one. But this second one, number 2, baby girl, yes, she was going to make sure she let us know what she liked and what she did not like. But it was all chill. The father of the bride, he was really relaxed. He would pop his head in every now and then to see how things were going. But in all honesty, he just wanted to know who to write the check to, okay? Speaking of checks, I got to work with some of the best vendors in the Chicagoland area. And like I said, this was pretty early on in my career. So I was truly honored to work with this floral design team because I had never worked with them before. And when Mom and Dad signed off and said, yes, she could have those florals for her wedding, I was too excited. I just knew that this wedding was going to be absolutely beautiful. I wasn't even thinking there was going to be much drama on this day. But like I told you all before, there I go thinking, and it usually gets me into trouble. Now, speaking about the planning process, the mother of the bride, sometimes Dad would go with us to the meetings, to the planning meetings, to the vendors, whatever we needed to do. And everything would be lovely. The bride was happy. The mom gave her opinion, but she was really nice about it. And we'd bring these proposals and or contracts back to Dad so he could see them, as well as to the groom so that he could read through and make sure he gave his input. Now, I started to notice something throughout the planning process. The bride was happy, all right, with whatever decisions were made. And then she would share that contract or that proposal with her husband-to-be, and he didn't like something. And if he didn't like something, all of a sudden, she didn't like it either. It was as if her opinion no longer mattered, or her ideas or her thoughts no longer mattered. So I started to see this happen time and time again. And it caused a slight rift, in a sense, is that we had to go back and forth all the time with these vendors via email, because after they saw the bride was happy, all of a sudden she would come back a week or two later disgruntled, unhappy about something, or this needed to be changed and blah. So I began to ask the groom, why don't you join us during these meetings? All right. If you can't join us, maybe we can, schedule them for a better time so that you could be there, so that we could eliminate a lot of this back and forth and make the planning process go a little smoother. He He was like, okay, Desiree, I get where you're coming from and all is well, okay? So we get through the planning process. Contracts have been signed. Again, all is well with the world, or at least it appeared to be. So now we come to rehearsal day, all right? This bride and groom did not have a very large wedding party. As I shared with you, the maid of honor was the bride's sister. The groom had a best man and a few groomsmen. The bride had a few bridesmaids. Parents were involved. Hey, wonderful. We're over at the downtown venue, ready to go ahead and start the rehearsal. Now, I knew during the rehearsal that I was going to have to run and manage the officiating side. I had never done this before, but the officiant had literally sent me the script, and I just wanted to make sure I grabbed some touch points so that the wedding party, as well as a couple, would know how to move during the wedding ceremony. The officiant was out of town and would be flying in later on so that he could be present at on the wedding day, okay? Rehearsal goes off very nicely, but I noticed towards the end, the bride just didn't look like herself. And so we're at the end and I'm like, hey, what's going on? You're okay? I'm noticing your energy level has kind of gone down. And she says, well, her fiance had a problem with something. He saw that a person was at the rehearsal that he did not necessarily care for. He wanted to know why that person was here. And it kind of made him upset, which made me upset. I'm like, okay, well, who are you speaking about? And she shared with me it was the guest of a particular wedding party member. Come to find out, y'all. Come here. Come to find out, he dated her. And I guess he thought it was a bit awkward that she was there. Now, I'm not going to go into all the particulars, but I will say on wedding day, I noticed she was not there. So, anywho, the bride told me that he felt some kind of way about this person being there. I don't know if he spoke to the guest or if he said something to the bride, but it left her feeling some kind of way. Well, I told her, hey, you're about to marry your king tomorrow. Don't worry about all that mess. Are you happy with how rehearsal went? And she said, yes. I said, is your parents good? She said, yes. I said, is your sister, your wedding party members, is everybody happy? She was like, yeah. I said, and your groom, he's going to be happy in a few. So don't even worry about it. Do not allow this to ruin your day. She said, thanks, Desiree. She gave me a little hug and she went on about her business. I packed up everything I needed to pack up from the rehearsal and I went on about my business as well. I knew the couple was going to have their rehearsal dinner at a restaurant very near to the hotel. And they were going to have hors d'oeuvres, cocktails, and a little dancing and fun afterwards that would lead them into the wedding day. All right. I did not get a text. I did not get a phone call. I didn't get anything that night. So I woke up on wedding day smiling. I was like, oh, it's beautiful outside. I've got these gorgeous florals that are going to be delivered. Everybody is happy. I head on over to the hotel. I check in on the bride. She seemed to be doing good. I see mama over there doing her thing, being spicy as ever. So I leave them and I go ahead and check on the groom. I'm knock on the door. I'm like, knock, 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 knock. I'm like, hey guys, I'm here. What's up? What's up? The groom pulls me into the room, like physically pulls me into the room. I'm like, oh God, what the heck? What is going on? Did this man anyway, did he just touch me and pull me in here? He's like, I need to talk to you immediately. Oh, okay. Let's go. Let's have it. So he pulls me over to the side and he begins to let me know that he had an issue with how everything was run at the wedding rehearsal last night. I'm like, well, download to me. What's going on? What happened? Did something happen? Did I do something incorrectly? He said, no, the rehearsal itself went off fine. But he, for one, wanted to know why the officiant wasn't there. And for two, who were all of those extra people that were invited to the rehearsal because he didn't sign off on that? I said, well, whoa, hold on, sir. The officiant is en route to your wedding. as you were fully aware, if you had read your email, is that he was out of town dealing with a church convention and he would be unable to make it to the rehearsal. And that is why he gave me some instructions as to what to do. And then as for who were all those people at the rehearsal, I don't know. Hell, they're not my friends. I don't know who was there. I literally know the wedding party members. I know you and your bride-to-be, and I know the parents. The extras, not my problem. I was like, what is the issue? He said, well, there was someone there that should not have been. Okay, I understood. I said, I spoke with your bride about that, and it's my understanding that she may or may not be here today. So he looks me dead in my eyes, and he said to me, she is not to be allowed in. And how, what? I said, sir, all right, listen, I don't know if old girl is coming to the wedding. I have no idea. I don't know. But if she is to come, what do you want me to tell her if she's coming with a wedding party member? Should that person no longer stand up or be a part of your wedding and leave with his guest? Or are we just going to ignore the fact that she's there and realize you're marrying your beautiful bride today? He said to me again, she is not to be inside of my wedding. All right, so what is a girl supposed to do? I was like, give me her name. Give me her name. I write it down. I said, okay, I will pull her place card. If someone comes up to me and says her name or she's looking for her card, I guess I'll have to have a conversation with her to the side. But like I told you all a few minutes ago, I guess there was some tension or something had really happened between these two, something nasty, something that they didn't want to relive. And so ultimately she didn't make it there, and I didn't have to have that really crazy conversation that I thought I was going to have with her. That was it for him. I pinned on the boutonnieres to the guys, made sure he was all good. I was almost at the point, let me get you a drink so you can calm your nerves and quit coming at me crazy. But hey, we're going to move on. I go on back over to check on the bride to make sure she was good. And she was smiling. She looked beautiful. She looked lovely. Mama was driving her nuts, and I could tell, but she was in a happy place. And then the drama began.
Tune in next time for some more wedding tea.